Okay. Welcome back, everybody. There we go. Okay, there's the game. Okay, last game that I'm gonna be able, I think I have time to preview tonight. We are taking a look at Inhuman Resources, which was pitched to me as Severance meets Zero Escape, which are things that I both enjoy much. So I was like, I definitely want to check this out. I would definitely like to try this out. I think this will be fun. So I know very little about it other than that, I think, which is kind of fun for me. I kind of like that. So I guess, yeah, I'm Aqua Sereni. Let's confirm my identity. There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is that moment sometime in the future when your name is spoken for the last time. David M. Eagleman. Oh, man. I think I've heard this quote before. It's kind of a scary one. I don't know, something about it freaks me out. Phone call. All too familiar screeching reverberates inside your brain. The noise comes in waves. The pain follows suit. You try your best to ignore both. But the mere... Oh wait, 1 second. I realize I didn't do my usual thing. I need to make sure that I drop the link to this game on Steam in the chat. There we go. I didn't want to forget that. You try your best to ignore both, but the mere fact you've acknowledged the awful sound means it's already won. Your phone's alarm is simply much too loud to ignore. Well, okay, I thought I could hit enter to go to the next line. Apparently that goes to a next full page. Okay. Defeated, your eyelids peel apart like sheets of rotting Velcro, blinking back a bad night's bleary haze. You lie in bed, awake against your consent. The room is almost pitch black, save for the intermittent flashing of your phone's screaming screen. A rancid, if routine, stench of unwashed bedsheets bids you a bittersweet good morning. You're home for better or for worse, mostly the latter these days. Just once you wish you'd wake up somewhere else instead. Just once you wish time would ask permission before racing ahead. But your phone doesn't care about what you want. Okay, yeah, it looks like clicking is how you go 1 sentence ahead, keys get you further. The insufferable screeching drills deeper into your skull. You throw back your dirty blankets, blindly reaching for the misbegotten beast. That is how an alarm feels, huh? One option, pick up the phone. Right, okay. Slab of thumb smudge plastic feels comfortable in your palm. Most call the device ancient, but to you it's cozy and familiar, like an old, if outdated, friend. No oversized touchscreen, no fancy graphics card for mobile games, no constant access to Source OG network, just a simple tool with a cute antenna that still allows you time to disconnect. I've always appreciated the old and the analog, despite the wider world's obsession with digitized progress. There's sincerity and physicality, a warmth to an object's weight. You'll cling to this relic as long as you can. Sensible upgrades be damned. We are a hipster, huh? You've acquired old cell phone! Fiddle with the phone, desperate to stop the alarm. But no matter which button you press, the shrieking will not end. That's because this isn't your alarm at all. It's your ringtone. Squinting in the darkness, you barely make out the caller's ID. It's your aunt. Aunt/landlady, technically speaking. Oh. Hopefully just your aunt today. The woman is exhausting enough when she isn't asking for rent payments, no matter how overdue they are. Still, should you really ignore a call from the one person still willing to support you between jobs? Probably not. Hey, Rowan, good morning. Welcome in. You made it just in time for the start of the last game we're looking at for tonight. I think we should accept it. We're gonna have to deal with it either way. Let's just get the call done now. Static crackles as your obsolete cell phone struggles to connect. After a sharp click, you mumble a hesitant, hello.
Así mi clamo.
Hey there, sweetie. Sorry for calling you out of the blue. Hope I'm not interrupting lunch. Scratchy facsimile of her bombastically condescending voice greets you on the line's other end. No mistaking your dear auntie. What's this about lunch? Oh god, did we sleep way in? You flick on a light and glance towards your microwave's LED clock display. A shameful number stares back from the room's abyss. 1:29 p.m. Oof. You wince and make up a half-baked lie, pretending to talk with your mouth full. Your aunt doesn't seem to buy it. Well, I'm sure you're very busy with job applications today, so I'll get straight to the point. Do you have any idea when you'll be able to send me last month's rent? I know money's been tight lately, but it's already the 31st. One missed payment is bad enough, but two... Shit. Landlady it is. You feel yourself deflate, glancing to the tower of rejected job applications standing proud and precarious upon your messy desk. The top sheet almost grazes your modest apartment's ceilings. Ugh. Oh, God, job hunts right now are not a good time. Your aunt suggested to print each refusal, claiming they'd make your eventual hiring all the more rewarding. Would they? And thank you for the thirst you redeemed, the meaty Eli. Have a nice little sip of my tea. And that'll help me keep on reading. Thank you, thank you. You found that harder and harder to believe, ever since the letters started to outnumber the dollars in your bank account. Oh. Sweetie, do you have some kind of estimate for me? I would really need an answer. Today. Oh God. We need more time, man. Oh man. Yes, tea! Nice throat coat tea helps me keep on reading on these visual novel streams. They keep me going. You swallow your pride. It goes down easy. There isn't much left. Oof. For the 100th, 1000th, millionth time, you swear to send your aunt the money the second you get a steady paycheck. Till then, there's no way you can conjure cash out of thin air. An uncomfortable silence lingers over your phone's speaker. After several torturous seconds, a disappointed sigh comes through. Sweetie, I'd let you rent a place that gives you a second chance, not enabling this shameful do-nothing behavior of yours. Honestly, I'd be more than willing to forgive delays if I knew you were actually trying. But you can't expect me to believe you've been pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and giving this job a hunt. All you've got when you've been living in a pigsty for the past year. Dude, if we have this many rejected applications, we have clearly been trying. Pigsty? You deflect the woman's accusations, blabbering in desperate denial. But as your eyes drift over the sorry state of your apartment, your ramblings turn into tragic silence. You've been immune to this stench for a few months now, but no amount of time will ever make you blind to the altars of wretchedness your neglect has erected. On the floor, crumpled stacks of crusty laundry litter the unmopped ground like the landmines in an active war zone. At your desk, fly-stormed styrofoam containers amalgamate themselves into awkwardly unstable modern art installations. Your largest one can only be referred to as the Leaning Tower of Takeout. Ugh. In the kitchen, filthy cookware overflows from your sink, bathed in rancid dishwater. A layer of film has formed on the surface, thick as the crust of a creme brulee. Oh, gross. We gotta clean up at least a little. In your fridge, the outdated contraption hums like a thermonuclear lawnmower, even though you know damn well it's not keeping anything cold. Maybe the ketchup packets if you're lucky. As someone who up until a couple weeks ago had a broken fridge, it's a rough time. Pigsty or not, there's no denying that this whole unemployment business has been taking a serious toll. One that's gone on long enough for your aunt's pity to become well-deserved contempt. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? God, these are all pretty extremes. I don't know, this one, I'm sick of having to pull myself up by my bootstraps. Been convinced that effort is overrated, and wasted effort is downright offensive. Why keep applying to jobs if it never amounts to anything? Why clean your room if it just gets dirty again? Your precious time would be better spent sleeping in and waiting for money to magically appear. None of these were good answers. Your aunt, quite obviously, does not share your optimistically apathetic philosophy. Honey, none of your efforts have been wasted because you haven't made one yet. I mean, you show up late to every interview, you dress like a slob, and if you actually cooked once in a while instead of ordering in, you'd have enough money to buy an island nation. How's an employer supposed to trust you with keeping their business running if you can't even pretend to take responsibility for yourself? Keep choosing to be lazy and people will keep choosing not to give you a chance. I mean, so she's being kind of rough, but if we're late to every interview, that is not good. You really gotta be on time. You've acquired plain old laziness! You brace yourself as the woman prepares to deliver her most frequent, most frustrating spiel. You could probably repeat it word for word if you ever were held at gunpoint. Remember, sweetie, in our world, choices matter. Oh, just like the Choose Wisely festival, that's crazy. The big ones and the small ones. We can't always take those decisions back, and we can't control their consequences either, which means we have to choose carefully. You most certainly have not been doing that. But if you have any intention of getting yourself out of this mess, you need to start making the right decisions, and soon. Hang your head and nod, gulping down your last trickle of self-respect. Hearing the speech frequently doesn't make it any easier to hear. Anywho, enough of that. The real reason I'm calling is because I might have an opportunity for you, oh? You can tell by her inflection. She means a job opportunity. Your reaction is practically Pavlovian. You salivate at the thought of your unrelenting financial woes finally coming to an end. You grip the cell phone tighter, aching with anticipation. See, there's this problem employee at our company. He works in one of the local branches right next to where you live. But the man has a terrible attitude and is even more terrible when it comes to, well, whatever it is you think we do over there. Picture her limply waving her wrist in some vague, dismissive pattern. More of the highly confidential stuff she can't share, but brags about anyway. Not that you're entirely sure what your aunt actually does for a living to begin with. Something to do with human resources, maybe? Needless to say, we'd be laying off a little sourpuss as soon as fitting a replacement is found. But we need that replacement fast. Company has a big business deal coming up. We can't afford to be short on staff right now. Luckily, I happen to know someone in dire need of a job, and this position happens to be entry-level. No major qualifications needed. It even comes with a sterling letter of recommendation from yours truly. Now, this won't be an easy job. Supervisors are very strict and the anxiety has a way of following you home. But so long as you nail the interview, you're basically guaranteed stable income for as long as you need it. Cerna Corp isn't prone to random layoffs. Other than this one, I guess, but, you know. So how about it, sweetie? Shall I schedule something for you? Dude, at this point, we need a job. High-stress environment or not, it beats homelessness by a country mile. You agree to the offer with ravenous insistence. The woman breathes a sigh of relief and lets out a nervous laugh. It almost sounds like she's in ecstatic disbelief. Thank goodness, you have no idea what it means to hear you say that, dear. You're literally saving my life. Maybe we literally are. If this is Severance meets Zero Escape, maybe we literally are. You should probably be the one telling her that, but you won't complain about receiving gratitude instead of judgment for once. Without missing a beat, your aunt hammers at her old computer's keyboard, drafting you an email. You clamber your way out of bed, tripping over day-old takeout and mounds of dirty underwear as you rush towards your laptop. I've booked the earliest appointment I could possibly find. You should get an email with the time, address, and job description soon. Be sure to read everything carefully and do not be late. Mr. Burgard will skin me alive if I send him another unpunctual idiot. Oh, and try and show a little gusto out there. If Mr. Burgard thinks you're lazy, he might try to fix you rather than hire you. Oh god. Fix you? Rather than offer answers, your aunt whispers farewell. Good luck, sweetie. I hope you'll forgive me for this someday. Bro. I'm like... You know, I was just choosing based on, like, you know, I've been there job hunting, and it's like, well, you know, better to take a shit job over no job at some points, like, you gotta pay your bills, but now I'm like, oh, that they will fucking kill us here. Click. The line goes deathly silent, save for a droning dial tone. You get an urge to call her back, but the ding of an invitation appearing in your inbox catches your attention first. Oh, your interview's today! At 4 p.m. sharp, no less. You curse under your breath, running to shower and get dressed. Your stack of rejection letters gets knocked over by your charge and scatters across the room in a whirlwind of standard issue responses. You beg with every fiber of your being not to come home with a new failure to add onto the pile. Let's go to the waiting room. The packed full city transit bus comes to a creaking stop right in front of an old building you've never seen before. Shoving your way past crowded commuters, you step onto an empty sidewalk. The vehicle roars away, fading into the misty afternoon and leaving you utterly alone. You briefly wonder if getting off here was a mistake. You review your aunt's documents, poring over the civic number, street name, and postal code as though every character were the cipher to some secret code. By the time you finish your third revision, you're forced to concede. This must be the right address, but it's not remotely what you expected. What is it? Nestled between two gleaming skyscrapers, there's this much smaller, much stranger building. There's the unnerving facade. Glazed gray brickwork and pale-veined marble unite to form a vast web of extravagant monochrome patterns. Despite all the details, the sum total still gives off a sense of cold, calculated purpose. Almost like an anarchic graffiti artists were hired to redesign a palliative care center. The decorative windows. As you climb the front steps, a set of circular, gold-tinted portals stare down at you. They're unblinking like the eyes of giant deep-sea squids. The glass is too opaque to see through, yet you suspect someone is on the other side, watching you approach. The massive front gates, made from half-ton hunks of glistening cast iron, the double doors have been decorated with an intricate bas-relief of skyscrapers swimming in fog. It's ironic for such a stout little edifice. The bronze door knocker. The alloy has been smelted into the shape of a crowned king's severed head. The object looks so realistic, you're scared it will be warm and wet to the touch. Ew! Unfortunately, you see no keypads, handles, or ID scanners that would allow for easier entry. Oh man, this sucks. The local branch of Smyrna Corp is only 4 stories tall, yet it feels impossibly imposing. It's caught between outdated aesthetics and timeless sensibilities, somehow both outrageous yet invisibly subtle. It's meant to be forgotten at a passing glance and to haunt those whose gazes linger. Yeah, it sucks we couldn't even, take some time to Google this place. I suspect you may be underdressed. Oh boy. As is customary, you wait until the very last minute to get dressed, tossing on the first thing that happened to be lying around. And judging by those weird looks you were getting on the bus, your impromptu fashion experiment may not have resulted in the new pinnacle of professional apparel. Then again, there's only so many combinations of mustard-stained sleeves and sweatpants a single person can create. Especially when they've deliberately not done any laundry lately, oh god. Regardless, maybe we'll fail this interview and, that'll be good because, we'll not be killed. Regardless, what you've got will have to do. The hour of your interview approaches, and you won't have the cash to afford a better outfit until this job is yours. Alright, knock, knock, let me in. Ron's object booms against the iron gates even harder than your thumping heart. Moments later, something clicks and a latch comes undone. The doors groan themselves open, inviting you inside. You step into the building and are greeted by what seems to be a 5-star hotel's reception area. The room is utterly massive, with high ceilings that would rival a Renaissance church's cavernous belly. Its windows let no sunshine through, and no fluorescent light bulbs fill it with their pale glare. There are just low-hanging chandeliers and an array of green-glassed banker lamps, bathing the room in burnt orange. Upholstered sofas and coffee tables dot the space like islands, forming a winding path that leads to the room's distant depths. There, a woman stands behind a desk, flanked on each side by grillage elevators. The sharp machine gun clatter of her mechanical keyboard echoes across the room. You appreciate the old and analog. Smyrna Corp's apparent fondness is downright ridiculous. Hopefully, the receptionist won't feel the same way about your subpar outfit. Confidence is important in an interview. With a little luck, it'll read as self-assurance instead of a total fucking delusion. I appreciate the writing in this. It's very witty. It's very witty. The dim lighting becomes dimmer the further you go, and thick shadows close in on you like claustrophobic walls. Wall-to-wall carpeting swishes under your feet, and an unfamiliar ammonia aroma assails your flared nostrils. Whatever they use to clean the place smells strong enough to double as a bioweapon, but still isn't enough to erase the lingering stench of cigarette smoke. The off-putting odor does suit the outdated decor, however. Except for those unsettling sculptures carved into the room's concrete support pillars. Disturbing shapes that assail you from all sides, emerging from shadows like pretentious interpretations of 21st century demons. On your left, headless nude bodies are contorted in pain as veins sprout through their skin like a tree's fall. What? On your right, a bleak rendition of what you assume to be Babel's tower has been built out of steel girders, electrical wiring, and bones? What? Up ahead, you see human skulls whose scalps have exploded, revealing interwoven helixes of DNA strands and binary code. Guys, what the fuck? What happened to good old-fashioned gargoyles? Unsettled by your surroundings, your eyes drift back to the woman working the reception desk. There are letters engraved on the wall above her, spelling out a slogan twinkling silver font. Memoriae perpetuitas mutatio. I know the first two, I'm not sure about the third. You don't know much about corporate branding, let alone Smyrna Corp's specific suite of services, but you're not sure how effective that cryptic slogan must be. Maybe you should have read your aunt's documents more carefully. You know, instead of sleeping on the bus, wondering how long this crap would keep you from the comfort of your bed. Man, that lazy trait really is just... it's coming through everywhere. You wave hello to the receptionist, but she doesn't even flinch. Her gaze remains glazed over, wholly focused on her work. She's younger than you first thought. Maybe 30, likely not quite. Sickly pale with sleep-deprived bags under her eyes, each one darker than the acrylic of her tidy black turtleneck. Her hair is knotted into a dainty bun, her fingers devoid of polish or rings. They move across her keyboard like demented tap dancers. Wait, no. Not her keyboard. Her typewriter. It's a really, really old one, made from brass, black plastic, and way too many moving parts. A relic from the 1800s that looks like it barely scraped through both world wars. You thought your laptop was getting old. There's also a small desk bell, glimmering on the counter. Maybe you should... She's up there, let's just say hi. Meant to whisper a polite greeting. Nervousness turns it into a shout. Cool. The woman's head snaps forward as though hit by an electric shock. She flashes you a beaming, not quite pearl-white smile.
Bunipova.
Welcome to Smyrna Corp. Do you have an appointment? Words barely seep through the woman's gritted teeth. Her grin is so tight it hurts to watch. Yeah, real smooth. But there's no trace of frustration. She's the dictionary definition of too friendly. Made uncomfortably manifest. Oh, great. Unsettled, you stumble your way through an explanation of your aunt's referral. The receptionist replies with a nod, squinting as she reads the writing on her typewriter's latest sheet.
Anapaoki.
Yeah, very interesting smile. The more we see, the more I'm like, guys, I don't know if I want to keep working here. I don't know if I want to work here. Maybe sometimes the shitty job is not worth paying your bills. You know what I mean? Sometimes the shitty job is not worth paying your bills. But we're still here. We're still at least gonna give it a shot. Oh boy. One second, I think I'm gonna sneeze. No, I think it passed. Of course, we've been expecting you. I'm afraid Mr. Burgard is running a little late this afternoon. He'll need a few more minutes until he's ready to speak with you, but you're more than welcome to pursue our visitor handbooks while waiting. She gestures to a set of nearby couches and a table chock full of company pamphlets, but you're more surprised to notice someone else already sitting there. A young man with a bitter look etched into his furrowed face. Could this be... Nah, another applicant wouldn't be here at the same time. Is this an irritated customer? All odd decor aside, this is a place of business. Right, prep for work now. Will be fun with a cold. Oh no! I hope that you feel better soon, Rowan, and I hope the day goes by fast and doesn't make you feel too much worse. Good luck! At the very least, just know your day at work will almost definitely be better than the protagonist of this game's day at work. Odd decor aside, this is a place of business, but for a human resources company, they sure don't seem to keep people happy. Your bleak musings are interrupted by the receptionist's unpainted nails tapping at her name tag. I'm Melusine, by the way. I'll tell you as soon as Mr. Brigard has become available. In the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions. Okay. With a grateful, albeit embarrassed nod, you walk away and slump into an old-fashioned sofa, Melusine's rickety typewriter clacking away once more. Melusine, isn't that... let me check. Yeah, that's Fairy Lancelot and Fate Go. That's crazy. Sorry, I was like, that's the same name, right? Couch's cushions feel quite stiff, or maybe your stressed, clenched back does. Considering the ferocious stare down you're receiving from the stranger seated across you, it could well be the latter. The steady tick of a vintage clock draws your gaze. Its hands point in the opposite directions. 3:42, 18 minutes left. Hey, we're early! Good thing you came early. You still have time to prepare before your interview. Probably not to do everything you want. You have to decide where to spend it, carefully. Let's find out more about the company. That's important. Snatch a brochure that seems to cover the most interesting topics, hoping it'll contain some hints about your future 9 to 5. Now, they always ask you, like, what you know about the company or, like, why you want to work there in an interview. You gotta know at least basic facts. Welcome to Smyrna Corp, your guide towards success in a post-truth future, huh? You're mildly disgusted by the amount of insipid buzzwords featured on each page. The whole thing reeks of hyperbole, with a lesser whiff of self-congratulation, but at least it was somewhat informative. Plus, this company seems way more prestigious than you expected. The salaries must be pretty decent. Tuck the pamphlet back into the display and give the clock another glance. 3:51 p.m. Still have a few minutes left, maybe enough to extract information from one of the other people in the room. Let's talk to Melusine. Despite her extreme fatigue and even extremer stress levels, the woman definitely seemed eager to lend a hand. But what better way is there to learn about your new workplace than to ask the person paid to greet visitors? Yeah. You return to the reception desk with an awkward wave, embarrassed to be disrupting the receptionist's work so soon after leaving. Yet rather than appear annoyed, the woman looks up from her typewriter with a sigh of relief, the air seeping through her vice-tight teeth with a shrill tea kettle whistle. Hello. Hello again. I take you have a few questions for me. As a disclaimer, please be advised that Smyrna Corp staff cannot disclose any confidential information to members of the public. Therefore, while I respond to your queries to the best of my ability, there may be certain details I'm forbidden to discuss. Thank you in advance for understanding. This uneasy first impression Melusine gave you worsens with every word she speaks. And not just because she keeps talking without blinking her bloodshot eyes or unclenching her goddamn jaw. So, what would you like to know? Let's see. These are repeats. Let's try and do well in the interview. It's not like you want to land Melusine in hot water, but you flop too many job opportunities by playing nice. You need to play every edge you can get to earn a steady paycheck. Playing coy, smiling broadly, you ask if she has any tips to make a positive first impression in the upcoming meeting. Am I allowed to do more than one? At smiling induced lockjaw's the price to pay for working here, it may not be worth the money, no matter how badly you need it. But it could be that Melusine has a much more difficult job than you ever will. As diplomatically as possible, you ask her to describe her day-to-day tasks. The woman looks startled by your question, her grin tightening even more as she mulls over her response. Suddenly realizes her teeth are strangely flat, as though worn down by years of grinding. Oh. Well, the best advice I have for any candidate is just to be yourself. Smarter Corp prides itself on a diversity of creeds, cultures, and ideas coming in to form its rich, thriving work. But, regarding Mr. Brigard, he's a man who highly values those capable of following rules. Our work involves a lot of private information and non-disclosure agreements, you see. It's very, very important that you respect any directives he gives you and answer all his questions honestly. Not exactly a riveting revelation. You gently urged Melusine to tell you more, hinting at just how life-changing this job could be for you. It doesn't take much exaggeration to embellish that truth. At first, the receptionist remains unfazed by your blubbering pleas, but then her tense expression softens, revealing unexpected melancholy.
Mitagamoko.
What kind of world would you rather live in? Utopia where no one's allowed to be different? Or a dystopia where people can remain unique? Yeah, a world where no one can be themselves sounds like the real dystopia, if you ask me. Utopias are inherently impossible. Perfection for one person often excludes the ideals or identities of others, sometimes even entailing the erasure of cultures and creeds based solely upon difference. For all the messiness it entails, a richer breadth of people and perspectives can only make the world better. That's exactly how I feel. For a brief moment, you see Melusine's tight smile waver, her tired eyes suddenly twinkling with pleasant surprise. Even her voice loses its formal stiffness as she speaks with a comforted sigh.
Imajekamo.
Yeah, I think the world would be better if more people thought that way too. I wonder if this is what Saint Sans really looks like when her happiness is genuine. But you did not get the chance to wonder for long. As quickly as it vanished, the forced smile returns. The receptionist's insomnia-darkened eyelids flutter, blinking away her own unexpected vulnerability. Her teeth grind together, scared that she shared something that could land her in trouble. Oh boy. Sorry about that. Seems my mind's been wandering from a lack of sleep. I've had a long work shifts lately. Now, while I share your opinion, I think you should refrain from voicing such problematic interpretations of human society to Mr. Brigard. He highly values doing things by the book, you see. So be sure to remain as conservative and considerate as possible during his post-interview evaluation. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Evaluation? Your aunt didn't tell you to prepare for anything like that! Panic must be plainly written on your face, because the receptionist is quick to hush you, the same way one would a skittish horse.
Bunipova.
No need to be afraid. The fact that you're here to begin with means there's practically no way you could actually fail the exam. Just try to please Mr. Brigard and everything should go just fine.
Mitagamoko.
But, if I can give one word of warning, be very careful with your answers. The questions you're given might seem fairly pointless at first, but their consequences are very real. Depending on what you say, innocent people could... Hello?
No, Tesamini.
Tut, tut, tut. No spoiling the surprise, Miss Saint Sons. As I'm a little scared. A booming voice rumbles across the reception room, and Melusine stiffens as though struck by lightning. Clenching her smile tighter than ever, her heels click together like a soldier awaiting inspection. Another click is heard behind you as the angry stranger on the couch stiffens in the same way. The reactions make no sense until you turn to face the voice, and then you too go rigid with awestruck shock. Standing in front of the elevator is, without exaggeration, the most massive man you've ever seen. He's taller than a fridge, twice as wide, and perhaps thrice as heavy. The pure white of his immaculate dentistry contrasts with his dark skin, which reflects the room's dim light like finely chiseled onyx. Beneath the perfectly tailored patterns of his elegant tweed suit, muscles shift with every breath, threatening to burst through the seams. His pale blue eyes focus on you as he speaks with a voice like velvet thunder.
Kudo Mijaji.
My humble apologies for interrupting your enthralling conversation, friend. My dear Melusine, sometimes a little careless when it comes to discussing confidential company matters, but I'll gladly save your curiosity in her stead during our interview. Interview, huh? This must be Mr. Brigard, your soon-to-be boss, luck willing. Ding of an elevator is suddenly heard, and one of the grillage doors by the reception desk creaks open. The tweed behemoth slides his way into the shaft, packed tighter than tuna in a too-small can. He beckons you to join him with a bratwurst thick finger. Can we fit? Good luck, Aqua. I'll do my best, Super Twin, but I'm a little scared.
No, Tesamini.
Come along now, we're already behind schedule and you can't afford any more delays. What's more, I frankly cannot wait to discuss your future with us here at Smyrna Corp. Holy shit, he thinks you have a future! That moment, Mr. Brigard's big beaming smile is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. No, it's not good if they hire you right at the interview. That's usually a bad sign. Alright, let's slip into the elevator, I guess. It's a tight fit, but you manage to wriggle yourself into the lift by nuzzling up to your, hopefully, future boss. You apologize profusely for the cramped conditions, but he just laughs it off.
Come baden.
No need to be embarrassed. Happens all the time. But no need for all this Mr. Brigard business either. First name basis is fine by me. Why is my aunt call you Mr.? And why is the receptionist call you Mr.? I'm a little... I don't know, the vibe is whack. The vibe is whack. Before the elevator door can snap shut, someone opens their mouth and screams. Oh, but yeah, wait! The angry-looking man you were worrying about suddenly drops to his knees, hands held together in prayer. Any aura of danger that once clung to him has been dispelled by this blubbering supplication. Sir, I'm begging you, just give me another chance. I swear I'll do anything. Unpaid overtime, I'll work on weekends, I'll kiss your goddamn shoes if I have to. Just please don't replace me! Oh, maybe we should have talked to him. Mr. Brigard's only reply is a disappointed sigh. His bright white smile wavers, and tangible contempt taints his otherwise welcoming tone.
Samogeto.
Mr. Aguilar, you've had more of the second chances than I can count, and displaying such undignified desperation in front of a candidate set to take over your position is frankly not an endearing choice. Frankly, there's nothing more I can or want to do for you beyond offering the standard company-issued severance package. Oh shit. This is the problem employee your aunt was talking about. The lamb being brought to the slaughter, also you can survive on the paycheck they used to have. Yikes. Part of you feels guilty considering how desperate the stranger seems about being laid off. But another part is grateful that your predecessor seems to be such a mess. Maybe getting hired here will be easier than you first thought. Either way, Mr. Brigard's words have the effect of an ice pick through the heart. Once intimidating stranger collapses as though shot in the chest. His body ripples with hiccuping wails, his fists powerlessly pounding at the carpeted floor. Maybe future boss clicks his tongue, more disappointed than disturbed. Turns to give Melusina a firm look and firmer orders.
Ajobonica.
Miss St. Sons, please ensure our former staffer behaves until his offboarding is complete, will you? I'll attend to him once I'm done with our guest. The tired woman gives a nervous nod, rushing back to her typewriter as if nothing happened. The clacking keys are now punctuated by the tears of a grown man. Obia thumbs a few buttons and the elevator's doors finally slide shut. Through cracks in the grillage gates, you can see the receptionist giving you a small wave, mouthing a worrisome farewell. Good luck! Before you can decide whether she was cheering you on or trying to warn you, the floor lurches downwards. The interview! After descending a short way, the elevator slows to a crawl, then comes to a complete stop, groaning under the combined mass of its unevenly weighted passengers. For a moment, you worry the cables have jammed. Clearing his throat, Mr. Brigard reaches over your shoulder and points to the lift's control panel.
Come baden.
Would you do me the honor of entering our meeting room's access password? If you're going to be working here, you may as well learn how to travel across the office. Just type in that, if you please. Oh, no need to be too brusque about it. Precision matters more than speed with those old doodads. Oh. Okay. Shepherd's hook. There we go. The interviewer chuckles as he watches you fiddle with the eclectic symbols, amused by your apparent unfamiliarity. No doubt he's used to employees entering these combinations with the routine deftness of jaded shoppers, typing in their PIN numbers during credit card transactions. Still not sure why he's making you type the password in, nor why the elevator uses passwords in the first place. Keycards be easier? Or normal numbers at least? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Regardless, as the last button clicks into place, the elevator resumes its descent at an increased momentum, plunging deep into the earth with no sign of stopping. After almost 20 seconds, you wonder if it's headed for the planet's core.
Ajobonica.
You'll have to beg my pardon for the sluggishness. I've petitioned to have this thing replaced, but the encryptology department refuses to let us invest in newer models. Potential security risks, or so they claim. Boogeyman hogwash, I say. An upgrade has been long overdue. Maybe once our deal with Radium finally goes through, they'll be a bit more welcoming of our true progress, eh? Hey, Ion! Good to see you! You're here just in time for a very normal job interview, surely. Thank you for the posture check and the stretch! And the thirsty and the head pat. Oh my god, you're treating me so nice. I appreciate it, I appreciate it. I hope you're having a wonderful night. Hope you're doing well. Always good to see you around. You nod along politely, pretending to understand what he means. You're unsure the display looks convincing. Still, by the sounds of it, you'll be stuck here for a while. How do you kill time? Oh god. I don't think we should ask him about the employee. Let's look at those buttons. Squinting at the control panel, you try making sense of the assorted icons decorating each key, trying to intuit the twisted logic linking them together. There must be some rationale informing the design of these peculiar passcodes. Are they all Greek symbols? I see Omega here. Really fucked up that that's the one I know here. Is this one Rho? I can't remember. Maybe. Fortunately, the longer you look, the less you understand what the pi symbol and Greek omega have to do. Oh, yeah, with any of these scribbles you've never seen before. Thought of mechanical gymnastics has required to even attempt to draw in a clear pattern leaves you with a nagging headache. At least you can remember the password Opia gave you. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm gonna remember that one. In the end, you're so focused on decoding the secret behind Smirnocorp's buttons that you're startled by Brigard.
Yabona Kimo.
I hope you're as excited for this interview as I am, friend. At the risk of sounding biased, I have very high expectations for you.
Home Baden.
The woman who recommended you for this position, your aunt, I believe, she had nothing but great things to say.
Ajobonica.
She told you are one of the most energetic, hardworking, and punctual people she's ever met. And an employee with such commitment to positive workplace values sounds like just the kind of addition Smirnocorp could use right now. Aunt really blazed us, huh? You answered the giant's compliment with an awkward chuckle. Internally, however, you are screaming. Why did that woman have to lie about the one thing she knows you're terrible at, which is to say making an effort? Was she trying to get you in trouble, or is this her way of pressuring you into getting your shit together ASAP? As you force yourself to smile through an impending panic attack, the elevator comes to a grinding halt, its grillage door sliding open. Let's squeeze our way out of there. It's a bit of a battle to wriggle past Opia, though you soon find yourself free of the claustrophobic lift and breathing a bit easier. Mr. Brigard follows suit, flipping a light switch to illuminate the otherwise pitch-black room.
Noticeamini.
Welcome to my humble office. Ah, so that's what this place is. An office wouldn't have been your first guess. Yeah, you get off the lifts directly into an office? That's kind of crazy. The rectangular space before you is reminiscent of an oversized police interrogation room. The walls are painted glossy black, glistening in the sepia glow of a low-hanging ceiling lamp, and if it weren't for the obvious two-way mirror in the back, the room would appear infinite in size, a boundless expanse of inky shadow extending in every direction. What the fuck? A single desk sits at the room's center, made from a block of carved mahogany. Coffee-stained paperwork covers its surface like some madman's wallpaper, and countless colored wires sprawl across the floor, as though the varnished wood had somehow sprung electrical roots. Leather chairs fit to dwarf royal thrones loom over both ends of the table, no doubt custom-built to accommodate Mr. Brigard's colossal frame. The behemoth briskly motions for you to take a seat, but you sink so far into the plush leather it feels more like the seat takes you. This is so scary. Prying yourself out of those comfortable depths, your eyes turn to the sparse assortment of unusual baubles decorating the table's corners. On this side, there's an antique candlestick phone whose mouthpiece is made to look like a large roosting bat. On that side, there's an old-fashioned record player adorned with a gaudily gilded Smirnocorp logo. Right in front of you, there's a nameplate engraved with the words Opia Brigard, Senior Substitution Department Supervisor. and scattered all over the place. There are piles of VHS cassettes, each one labeled with tags written in Latin, Farsi, or ancient Greek. What? The item which perplexes you the most, however, is an old vinyl record snugly wrapped in yellow, keep out tape. Mr. Burgard notes your interest with an amused arch of his brow.
Kudomi Jaji.
You wouldn't happen to be a fan of jazz, would you? I love jazz! Your smile can grow no bigger, but it certainly shines brighter upon hearing your enthusiastic answer.
Gawona Kimo.
Well then, I'm quite excited to find out what a fellow connoisseur will think of this particular gem. Well, we scored some points there. Let's go. Should hopefully be good for our interview. Carefully placing the confidential vinyl onto an old record player, Mr. Burgard lowers the needle and bids you to listen. Strange, somber soundscape slowly fills the office with a blues-inspired rhythm you can't quite compare to anything you've heard before. It's not appalling, per se, but it's perhaps a little messy and eerie enough to make you uncomfortable. Duet voices of a man and woman muttering warbled lyrics only adds to the strangeness. Can't make out a word they're saying except for the chorus verse. Let's call the whole thing off.
Notisamini.
Gina and Herschel Gershwin. Twins, if you were wondering. Not a couple despite all the turbulent rumors that once surrounded their odd relationship. I've never met them myself, but I do know that they could have been bigger than the Beatles back in the band's heyday. The biggest case of my career was making sure they wouldn't be, and I always found it tragic that only one of their records was left intact in the world, though I also feel quite lucky to be the man who owns it. Few will ever have the privilege of hearing such avant-garde work. Huh? You stopped, then? You utter a few admirative oohs and ahs, feigning interest to conceal your perplexity. What does a human resource company have to do with ruining musicians' careers? That's what I'm wondering. And how could Obia be employed, let alone alive, during the birth years of rock and roll? He's not that old, is he? Me? I don't know. Before you can scrutinize the man's non-existent wrinkles, he promptly clears the stray documents from his desk, making space for a repulsively familiar sheet of paper. Your loathsome fucking resume, laid bare for the world to gawk at. Oh, God, you're sick of seeing that thing. Obia interlaces his fingers, pale eyes darkening into a severe stare. You suddenly find yourself keenly aware of just how dangerous the man could be, should he choose to embrace violence over verbal repartee.
Imauhone.
Time to begin our little interview. I'll be asking you a series of questions. Some will appear rather peculiar, others rather innocuous. They may be difficult to answer at times, as you've not been made fully aware of your position, nor of Smyrnocorp's company goals. However, I still request that you provide honest and instinctive responses. Regardless of context, they'll give us a better idea of the role you'll be assigned during your time among us. Sus. Wait, you have to ace an interview before being told about the job you're applying for? What a mess! Either Smyrnocorp has an unintuitive hiring process or their non-disclosure agreements are so incestuously interwoven, no one can get any work done without being strangled to death by red tape. Still, hope your words make one thing clear. The only way you'll get hired, and earn a salary to pay the rent you owe, is by acing this goddamn interview no matter what it takes. Let's be reassuring. Obia chortles with satisfaction. The sound is deep and rumbling as a rock slide at the bottom of a well. And we want to be firm, we want to be confident in our responses. Wonderful, let's get started.
Notisamini.
Question 1. A runaway locomotive is barreling down a set of railroad tracks at uncontrollable speeds. In its path lay 5 people tied down and unable to move. This is the fucking trolley problem. If nothing is done, the locomotive will surely crush them and end their lives in an instant.
Ome Baden.
You stand in a train yard next to a large lever. You know that if you pull it, the locomotive will divert its course onto a separate track. However, this will cause it to crush a different person who is also tied down to this alternate path. How do you ensure all 6 people escape this tragedy alive? Well, that's not quite the where do you see yourself in 5 years shtick you're used to. How the hell are you supposed to respond? What are my options? Assuming I can operate that lever, I might also know how to remotely trigger the emergency brakes. Not exactly the foremost authority on training or technological advances, but you're pretty sure conductors have developed multiple automated and manual failsafes, specifically to prevent cartoonish catastrophes like these. If not, you have $1 million idea pitch.
Noticeably.
That's an impressively refreshing answer. Although to be candid, many representatives in other departments would strongly disagree with your technology-based solution. Tweed Behemoth gestures to the yellowing documents strewn about on his desk, and the baubles at the corners. All of them appear ancient enough to have been stolen from an unsuspecting museum's oldest shelves. Oh, true, they love old shit here.
Oh, me baden.
Smyrna Corp was built upon a simple ideal, that humankind's potential must not become entrapped by progress's false promises of privacy. Efficiency is no excuse to discard an anonymous practicality. Our old hat philosophies and reliance on archaic devices have kept this company on the path to success for decades. But the world is changing, and we cannot remain blind to the additional insights technology can provide.
Kudo mi jaji.
After all, how can we think outside the box if we lack the tools to grasp how big the box has become? Especially in our ever so chaotic digital era. You're not quite sure how to respond to that, let alone how it applies to human resources. But you still managed to stammer out some words of agreement, which hopefully imply you were thinking the same thing.
Yamona kimo.
Okay, technological literacy, go up, yippee. Now, moving right along to question 2. Could you kindly rephrase your greatest flaw so that it sounds like your greatest strength?
Kudo mi jaji.
Thank you for the thumbs up. Be advised, I do not want to hear any of that cowardly "I'm too much of a perfectionist" or "I'm a huge workaholic" claptrap that most folk use to make themselves sound flawless. I want a proper blameworthy weakness, reconfigured into a proper praiseworthy strength. Understood? The behemoth leans forward and the room's darkness looms with him. Both close in around you, like the walls of a solitary confinement cell or the rope of an eager hangman's noose. Better think of something good. Let's see. Good night, Kazu. It was good to have you here. I hope you sleep well. This sounds like a good one. I'm in great shape. Emphasize your point, you flex a modest bicep. The muscle's circumference is positively pathetic next to Obia's arms, which are as wide as manhole covers. Motherfucker. Doing that right as he leaves. It's his problem. Thanks for the bits. The behemoth seems pleasantly surprised to see such confidence in your own physical fitness, not to mention its potential problem-solving capacities. Skull.
Ajubonica.
Glad to hear we think alike on the virtues of exercise. I always tell fellow supervisors that a healthy body is a solid foundation for the development of healthy minds. Had to. Good night. Alright, talk to you later, Kazu. Have a good sleep. That guy. Alright, between long hours, mentally demanding tasks, and the need to travel between departments, maintaining one's corporal constitution can also maintain one's efficiency.
Oh, me baden.
Furthermore, too often do sheltered folks suspect brute strength to be a solution born of incompetence. But there are times when it is the optimal approach to resolve certain challenges. Especially in this office, huh? You never know what you might be asked to do during a difficult orientation census, huh? This guy makes it sound like your average 9-to-5 workday will be an Olympic triathlon. And what kind of human resource service involves physically manhandling a fussy customer? Oh well, whatever it is, you'll probably be in good enough shape to deal with it, right?
Ajubonica.
Now then, onward to our final inquiry. Regarding your schooling, I would like for you to, well, if you could just explain the, goodness, how do I phrase this delicately? The behemoth's words. Oh my gosh, Medi! Thank you so much for the resub! Oh my gosh, for 39 months on a 38-month streak, that's crazy! Thank you so much, Medi! I appreciate that very much! Let me give you a quick shout out. I hope you've been well, Medi! Hope you've been having a good time. Ooh, you've been playing Trails in the Sky. I need to play that eventually. I definitely need to. Very good taste. I've heard that's an excellent game. Welcome on in, though. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing great. Always good to see ya. The behemoth's words trail into muttered mumbles, his velvet thunder voice degrading into something more akin to a bumblebee stuck in a big dog's mouth. His blue eyes dart between you and the paper's underwhelming bullet points, with increasingly disgusted concern, as though finally noticing what kind of unemployable aberration has stepped into this building. It's an unfortunately common reaction for anyone who reads your CV. Ah, damn. Singers on the record player shout a loud suggestion to just call the whole thing off. Your advice, for better or worse, goes unheeded. Me too in my rice nice.
Samugeto.
While at the risk of sounding insensitive, I truly appreciate some insight regarding your academic background. How do you believe a workplace of our nature could benefit from hiring someone with such a dubiously incompatible education? You begin sweating bullets. Big bullets. The kind of caliber robot cops must use in action movies from the 80s. Of course it was going to come down to this. No matter how dearly you wish it were possible, you can't magically go back in time and study something more prestigious for today's job market. But you might be able to describe your weird diploma in a way that makes a strikingly employable impression. Let's see here. Let's go with the one closest to what I studied. I'm unsure what kind of services Smyrna corporally offers, but there's no doubt social sciences could come in handy with human resources. By honing your communication skills and providing extra insight into people's personality quirks, your schooling should prove useful in dealing with clients and coworkers. You discuss some of the intricacies of your most memorable seminars, specifically those concerning mental development and lingering infant trauma known to emerge decades later. Examples of how early experiences inform otherwise incoherent attitudes among grown adults. Mr. Regard's concerns mellows into curiosity with every passing explanation. Then, as your story concludes, he regards you with outright admiration. Phew! Bullet dodge. Let's go.
Baden.
I cannot even begin to explain how often our Smyrna Corp representatives fail to consider the significance of formative experiences when it comes to mapping out an individual's psyche. Childhood memories are oft overlooked, yet integral in determining the root cause of a client's wants, fears, or failings. And in our most extreme cases, identifying those roots is utterly essential to succeed.
Gawona Kimo.
The fact that you have such a thoughtful and informed perspective, before starting your first day no less, is truly, truly incredible. Correcting human behavior is a complicated, multi-layered process, but your pre-existing awareness of that fact will be a major asset. Okay, we're scoring points. His flattery sends swarms of butterflies fluttering about your stomach. It's been a while since you received such a compliment, let alone felt actual pride in yourself, as opposed to the usual undercurrent of exhausted shame. Ironically, a therapist would probably have questions for you about that.
Tudomijaji.
Hey, okay, I've got a child psychology specialization in social aptitude. It's all coming together. What a weird person we're creating here, man. Anywho, I believe that concludes our questionnaire for today. As for your results, the man's enormous fingers crumple your CV into a ball and toss it aside. It bounces across the wire-laden floor, disappearing into an inky corner of the abyssal room. Your chest tightens. Panic swells. Catastrophic scenarios and thoughts of crushing failure explode through your head. Obia's beaming smile diffuses them all.
Gawona Kimo.
To tell you the truth, this little meeting of ours was nothing more than a corporate-mandated formality. Between your aunt's glowing recommendation and the fact you showed up to our offices on such short notice, I knew from the very start I'd be wanting you on board. Yay! After this discussion, I'm pleased to announce that my hunch has been confirmed, and I am most pleased to be extending you a permanent employment offer. How permanent? How permanent? Hang on, you actually want to hire me? You've never been this close to getting employed in ages. You almost expect the man to reveal it was a cruel prank this whole time. Instead, Mr. Burgard chuckles, amused by your aghast reaction.
Notisamini.
I'm dead serious, friend. In fact, you didn't just meet expectations, you exceeded them. Yay!
Gawona
I don't know if this is
Kimo.
a good thing. Our exchange has revealed that you're an individual of incredibly diverse talents, polyvalent in terms of interests and accomplishments. You're equipped to adapt your methods according to the issue at hand, and able to find a path to success in almost any circumstance. In a diverse, multidisciplinary workplace like ours, such a skill is not only enviable, but downright essential. It may be true that certain challenges will require a greater degree of specialization, or that a jack of all trades is forever cursed to be a master of none. But I believe the sheer amount of options at your disposal should be enough to overcome most obstacles. Yay!
Notice Amini.
So, would you deem my interpretation of your aptitudes accurate? Or if I misconstrued the content of your character? Sure, that's the kind of person I am. Sure. Flattered by Obaya's appraisal, you relish in the satisfaction of having been truly seen. It's not every day you get such precise, quantifiable breakdown of your unique abilities. May they serve you well in tackling the horrors to come.
Gawona Kimo.
Good to know, very good indeed. In that case, I'll nudge administration to start producing your contract. I'll unfortunately have to remain cagey about some details, such as workplace tasks or starting salary, until all the legal hoopla has been shorted. I can't even know my salary? But assuming you care to accept a generous starting offer... Mr. Bergard's chuckling deepens as he extends a massive hand. His blue eyes are bright with joy, his tongue hungrily running over his pure white teeth. I'm scared!
Ajobonica.
Please allow me to informally welcome you as the newest member of Smyrna Corp. I look forward to reviewing your performance. Holy shit! It's actually happening! You're going to have a job! You're going to have money! Enough of it to pay rent, keep a roof over your head, eat food, anything! Oh my god. I feel like he's the kind of guy who would appreciate us, shaking his hand, You cannot help but sniffle as you extend your hand, eyesight blurred by the tears of sheer relief. Yet even through that weeping haze, you can still see the behemoth's grin, spreading like a bird's unfurling wings. More specifically, those of a rapturous buzzard, diving in to snatch a rodent with razor-sharp talons. Guys, I think this job's gonna fucking kill us. Instincts urge you to pull away, but the behemoth's pounce comes too quickly. Before you can react, your entire hand is engulfed within a fist the size of a ripe cantaloupe. Almost instantly, something begins to feel terribly, horribly wrong. Okay, well, shit. Despite Mr. Bergard's pirouette smile, it feels as though your new boss is trying to leave you crippled from the wrist down. Okay. Knuckles crunch, folding in on each other. Metacarpals squeak and whine. Articular cartilage between them both crumble into collagen sand. All that pain is nothing, next to the sharp, stabbing agony suddenly shooting through your palm. Cry out in pain, beg Bergard to let go, fight to pry your fingers free, but the giant's grip is iron and deaf to your complaints. If anything, he squeezes harder. Oh... Needle-point pain went inside your hand, sinks even deeper, deep enough for you to think it might pierce the whole way through, deep enough for you to wonder if it could somehow kill you. Your jaw unhinges to let out a scream. Before a single sound comes through, Mr. Bergard lets you go free with an innocent-sounding "Oops."
Ajobonica.
Bro. Dearie me, I was a tad too firm there, wasn't I? Beg pardon, friend. I tend to forget my own strength sometimes. Is he fucking stabbing us in the hand? Can we look at our hand? The tweed behemoth lets out an earnestly apologetic chuckle. You force yourself to chuckle back, but the laughter takes tremendous effort. It's hard to buy his excuse, no matter how believable it may be. Panicked, you palpitate your palm and numb fingers, searching for any scars left by the thing that was drilling through your flesh. There is no wound. No torn skin, no deep cuts, not even mild bruising. You don't even feel the pain anymore. All you find is a single bead of bright red blood, no bigger than a pinhead. Did we get injected with something? The fuck? Guys, this is so fucking scary. You wipe it away, frantically seeking what lurks beneath. It's warm to the touch and leaves a scarlet smear across your skin like a painter's brush. But there's no sign of where the paint has come from. No wound, no scar. There could be some swelling. It's faint enough to make you suspect the bulge isn't really there. Maybe, it was all in your head. Now let's investigate that swelling. Press down hard on the tip of your thumb, searching for a lump or stiffness. Before you're sure you've spotted something, a clatter interrupts you. In one of his desk drawers, Mr. Burgard withdraws a slab of metal the size of a stovetop. At first, you assume it's a tablet device, custom built to fit the tweed giant's fingers and resist their vice-like strength, or perhaps a turntable meant for an aspiring DJ, painted in drab colors. A closer look reveals something older and chunkier, made of gray aluminum and solid beige plastics. Blinking buttons, flickable switches, knobs and sliders of all kinds decorate its crowded surface with a cluttered interface too complex to grasp at a glance. Despite your fondness for outdated tech, you cannot tell what kind of machine this is, nor what purpose it's meant to serve. Your best guess is this is old movie prop, stolen from the studio set of a sci-fi film from the 1950s. And not necessarily a good sci-fi film. Mr. Burgard bends over to grab the heaping handfuls of wires off the messy floor. Seemingly at random, he sorts through the dozens of them at a time, plucking only a paltry few into his device's outlets.
Kudomijaji.
Now that the pleasantries are finally done with, I suggest we proceed to the evaluation portion of our exchange. Ha! You were wondering when you'd be getting to that part. Behemoth appears taken aback by your expectant nod, but is even more surprised by the nervousness your lousy poker face can't conceal. Though you were told to expect a test, you were also warned to be wary. But you're not particularly excited to find out what this machine has to do with it. I'm nervous. Come now, no need to get so agitated. I've already agreed to hire you. It's not like I'll be terminating your employment before your first probationary milestone.
Ajobonica.
The format of this evaluation will be similar to our open-ended interview questionnaire, but this time I'll be presenting intentionally confusing scenarios that most Similar Corp employees might encounter during their day-to-day tasks. Your goal is to present solutions to each particular problem as you deem appropriate, regardless of how unconventional the suggestion may seem. Yet again, there are no wrong answers, but I will tell you responses to determine how much supervision you'll require during onboarding.
Kudomijaji.
Okay. In other words, I once more encourage honesty over making a good impression, for both our sakes. Okay. The behemoth flicks a larger switch upon his instrument's dashboard. A low, droning, palpable hum fills the shadowy room. The light bulb hanging above you flickers, then goes dark, bathing the already dim room in absolute blackness. Only the device's glowing buttons, reflected in the two-way mirror, provide you with any light.
Yawonakimo.
Shall we get started? Let's call the whole thing off, the record player begs you over and over again. It seems to be stuck in place and skipping a few beats. Fortunately, your body is also stuck in place, petrified in your plush chair, and your heart is skipping a few beats more. Give your sore hand a tight squeeze and hope the throbbing will stop soon. Let's begin, I guess. Mr. Burgard chuckles, his teeth so white they almost glow in the dark. You hear him whisper a single word with deep, brassy growl. Perfect. Your new boss's bratwurst's thick fingers push one of the machine's sliders to its absolute limit. The room's bassy hums increases in pitch and frequency.
Ajobonica.
I'll start you off with an easy one. Let's say, hypothetically, that you're supervising a group of employees from a different company. They hired you to isolate the source of their decreased productivity, then remedy the issue. And it does not take long for you to identify the problem. One of the staff members is extremely troublesome. Giant pauses, uttering a t of irritation. It seems he wasn't supposed to specify this mystery employee's gender. When he speaks again, he enunciates slowly, with more careful consideration.
Bonekaye.
This hypothetical individual has an undeniably inadequate productivity level. They never meet bare minimum expectations. They lack punctuality, disrespect their colleagues, browse unsavory websites with company property instead of dedicating their limited work hours to completing overdue urgent paperwork. Their misconduct is continuous and condemnable.
Tome baden.
Oh boy, is this about the guy that's getting fired? The employee has been given multiple warnings and provided with opportunities to improve their performance. Both have either failed or been ignored. The client is contemplating firing the problematic worker, but are concerned that becoming understaffed during an especially critical moment of the fiscal quarter could jeopardize their important deadlines. What do you think should be done to reestablish the client's baseline productivity? Maybe let's understand the root of their behavior. Citing psychiatric principles you learned during internships, you explain the employee may be enacting forms of self-regulation to cope with stress. Severe triggering employment-based anxieties could be the reason for lashing out. A safer, more communicative workplace could prevent future incidents. As your nervous explanation begins delving more into the more technical aspects of addressing trauma, you start losing track of your own argument. However, Mr. Bergard remains very satisfied by your convoluted suggestion.
Kudobijaji.
I knew your study's informative psychology would prove useful. Even our most experienced technicians could benefit from your level of consideration. If one intends to map out the architecture of a complex adult mind, one must first start at the foundation set in childhood. Failing to do so only grants an incomplete picture of the person we're trying to change, and leads to a flawed interpretations of the necessary corrections. The fact you already take into account potential childhood trauma tells me you understand this well.
Ajobonica.
I'm glad we're earning points, I think. Thus, I predict minimal corrective oversight will be necessary when performing your first surgical override or psychological reconditioning. What? Our first what? Jolly good stuff. The giant hums joyfully, fingers tap dancing across the buttons of his device with a series of distinctive clicks. You don't know, did he just say you'd be performing surgery? Albia completes his complex mechanical operation with a flourish of flashing lights and a sequence of high-pitched beeping. The machine's noises are loud but not startling. Not compared to the other sound. It's faint at first, maybe distant, subtle enough to make you wonder if it's part of the record player's tune. The longer you listen, the more unmistakable it becomes. Someone somewhere is screaming. Your nails dig into the armrests of your overlarge leather seat. Your eyes dart about the room, searching for the noise's source before landing on the two-way mirror in your own aghast reflection. It's coming from across the glass. You hold your breath and wait for the scream to rise up again. But there's only the record player's music. Music and the white-noised buzz of Bergard's machine as he ums you back to attention.
Gawona Kimo.
If you're in need of a restroom, I can point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I'd ask you to please complete this evaluation with a smidge less fidgeting. It negatively impacts our tool's acoustics, you see. What? It's like you didn't even hear it. Is the scream inside your head? Just like the pain in your hand from before? Or maybe... I don't think we should draw attention to it. I think that's dangerous. Hold your tongue, unwilling to disrupt the tool's acoustics any further. Besides, strange things have been happening ever since you've set foot in this building, and everyone's been acting like it's completely normal. There's probably nothing wrong, right? Dude, I don't think I'm coming in tomorrow. I'm handing in my sudden resignation without notice. Sorry. Albia flips another switch. The room's buzzing shifts into a frequency so oddly low you feel it sending ripples through your organs. The giant gestures your way with steepled fingers, further disturbing your unsettled guts.
Kudobijaji.
Now let's say, hypothetically speaking, that our problem employee has a more specific shortcoming. He is utterly unwilling to cooperate with one of his co-workers. Perhaps it's a matter of long-standing interpersonal friction originating from external sources. Maybe there's an irreconcilable difference between them in terms of moral, political, or religious beliefs.
Ajobonica.
Regardless of the exact circumstances, our floundering staffer has proven themselves incapable of playing nice with their high-performing teammate. This has resulted in a severe decline in both of their productivity levels. Knowing we cannot relocate the problem employee to a new department, nor displace their high-performing partner, how do we ensure the former collaborates with the latter despite the deeply rooted discord between them? Discord, are you alone? You teach them new values. Let's use our aptitudes. Mind drifts to extreme rehabilitation scenarios. Neo-Nazis mellowed out through exposure to inclusive media. Violent teens overcoming aggression through extensive therapy. They're not quick or cheap solutions, but they do prove people can overwrite old behaviors with new compassionate values. Your new boss's bright white smile twinkles with tremendous satisfaction. He tweaks his device's knobs with giddy abandon.
Tome baden.
You're absolutely right. Too often do we believe people act in certain ways by default, as though personality or upbringing were immutable entities. But psychologically speaking, not only can anyone become anything, they can be made to become anything through tactical exposure to new perspectives. This is scaring me. Individuals are the sum of environments and ideas they've been exposed to. Thus, adding or subtracting experiences from that human equation alters the result.
Tome baden.
The way he puts it makes me nervous. Unfortunately, there are times where the only solution is to erase every belief a person holds dear and start over from nothing, no? But that's just part of the job description. We wouldn't be offering such competitive salaries if designing boutique psychological profiles were easy. Hello? Before you can ask the interviewer what the hell he means, another sound reaches your ears. It's not a person's scream this time, but neither is it a vinyl's tune nor a machine's hum. Instead, it resembles a dull, wet, rhythmic thud. Once, twice, thrice you hear it, a little louder every time. Your eyes dart about the room, looking for the noise's source. You find it staring back at you across the two-way mirror. Begging to be let out, you see the handprint of a blood-stained palm slapping against the looking glass. Begging to be let out. Your mouth goes dry as it hangs open. Your fingers shakes as you start to point. Then, without warning, the thudding suddenly stops. All that remains is silence and a message written in scarlet smears. A cry for help no one can answer. Obia looks over his shoulder, seeing the red stain. You wait for him to react, to gasp, or even scream. All he does is humph at it, annoyed.
Onekaye.
I really need to put more pressure on that janitor. The soundproofing in here has been unacceptable as of late. With more grouchy grumbling, he tweaks a couple of his device's knobs as if nothing happened. Then, noticing your aghast expression, he furrows his brow. Not with concern, but confusion.
Tome baden.
Is something the matter? What's going on back there? I can't ignore it at that point. Voice cracks as you shout, but Obia appears unperturbed, bored even, perhaps disappointed at your lack of calm. Reluctant or perhaps defeated, the man provides a brief, albeit unpleasant explanation.
Onekaye.
As stated previously, contractual obligations prevent me from revealing classified company details. However, I assure you this is all standard Smyrna Corp procedure. Now please control yourself until said procedure is completed, or I'll have to contain your outbursts by any means I deem appropriate. I don't like the sound of that. Play along for now. Terrified of ending up like the person across the glass, you scrunch your lips shut and silently pray this meeting will end with your life intact. The tweed behemoth applauds your wisdom with an ever-widening smile.
Gawona kimo.
Wonderful. I'm thrilled you're willing to be so cooperative despite these distractions. Now, regarding the conclusion of our contractual conundrum,
Kudomi jaji.
let's say, and I cannot stress this enough, that our aforementioned staffer is hypothetically assigned to contain a major data breach, one with consequences that could spell disaster for their company and workers alike. The sensitive nature of this task requires them to exterminate or indefinitely debilitate any individuals who have witnessed this leaked information, so that they can become incapable of further dissemination. In this case, the information has only been accessed by two people: the employee's spouse and their prepubescent offspring.
Notisamini.
Needless to say, our employee is reluctant to perform their duty and exterminate these individuals. However, if either family member remains alive, the company stands to lose everything. Furthermore, should they refuse to tie up those proverbial loose ends, you will be required to do so in their place, as outlined in your Smyrna Corp contract. In short, how do you ensure these targets perish as intended, and that this data breach remains contained regardless of this problematic employee's hesitation? There's gotta be a better way! As you stammer your undignified answer, Mr. God's expression goes from jolly to deadpan faster than you can blink. He fiddles with his instrument settings with a disappointed frown, indifferent to your pleading.
Kimao hone.
Normally I'd applaud any employee willing to consider better ways of doing things around here, but I sense you're less interested in optimizing your duties and more concerned with avoiding them. Frankly, if this is how you react to a hypothetical version of this scenario, I loathe to imagine your reaction when actually confronting this version in the workplace. You'll need to learn how to perform under pressure around here, and fast. I don't think I want to work here. Can I finish this evaluation and go home and never come back? Warming up upon a few more buttons and eliciting a few more beeping noises, your manager's expression shifts somewhat as a strange machine's monitor displays your evaluation's final score.
Ajubonica.
Well, this is genuinely impressive. I had high hopes for you, but this exceeds even those anticipations by considerable leaps and bounds. Most of our employees need months, if not years, of training to properly optimize our procedures while foregoing all ethical concerns. For you to demonstrate such dedication to efficiency without need for orienteering, that tells me you're destined to accomplish great, terrible things at this company. Why, I barely had to make adjustments to your doppelganger engineering suggestions. What? Doppelgangers? Unfazed by your panic or bafflement, Mr. Brigard reaches for a nearby candlestick phone. The mouthpiece's realistically macabre roosting bat design makes it seem like he's clutching a live pipistrel and shoving it against the cavern that is his giant mouth.
Ajubonica.
We're all done here. You can show them now. On the other end of the line, a reply is chirped. Obia hands you the phone and motions you to listen in. His pure white smile is wide enough to tear his cheeks to the seams. Okay. Gingerly sees the occult antique. It takes you a few tries to grasp how the winged mammal is meant to be held, and even longer to hold the earpiece to your head. By the time you figured it out, you wish that you hadn't. Two-way glass at the back suddenly turns transparent, revealing yet another room filled with aesthetic contradictions and logical anomalies. Your first urge is to scream, but your voice makes no sound. Perhaps your cries are deafened by whatever the fuck is going on. You stand before what seems to be a hospital operating room. Its walls are adorned with a mix of dark wood panels and mounted stake heads, bathed in a sterile glow of circular fluorescent lamps. At the far back, you see the silhouettes of two surgeons toiling away behind a curtain, carving apart the skulls of their fully conscious, unsedated patients. You want these to look away, but you can't even blink. There's just too much to take in. It's the patients themselves. They look almost like twins. Both have been tied down with belts to their respective surgical tables. Both are men with tan skin, furrowed brows, and bloodshot stares. Both have the tops of their heads partially concealed by curtains, where the surgeon's silhouettes prodded their scalps with forceps, only one of them screaming as though death would be a mercy. There's the tools. Blood-stained aprons hang from wooden coat racks, while stainless steel surgical trays contain an assortment of gruesome devices. Bone saws, hand-cranked drills, and strangely hairy bone-white bowls glistening with dark red. Your stomach gurgles upon realizing they're sliced-off tops of human skulls. How about those TVs hanging from the ceilings? Oxy Technicolor units have been suspended above each patient's heads. Their crackling screens blast them with an unrelenting montage of childhood videotape footage, warped ECG readouts, brain scans, and news network broadcasts. Each man's eyelids are held open by metallic speculums, denying them the privilege of looking away. And there's the woman taking notes! She stands with her back to you, jotting down observations on a clipboard as she studies each victim's distinct reactions. Though her shoulders are shaking, she writes with a steady hand. Well, fuck. Muffled sounds of saws slicing through bone threaten to make you throw up. But instead you feel your heart sink deep into that pit of nausea and realize something truly chilling. You recognize two of the people in that room, huh? Okay, how about the screaming patient? His face is warped by fear and pain. There's no mistaking the angry stranger from the waiting room. And from across the two-way glass, he recognizes you as well. His shrieks turned into sob-choked pleas, his voice a feral shadow, of course, all it once was.
Kimaletoba.
You please tell them I'll change, tell them I'll do better, just don't let them replace me. Melissine, I'm begging you can't do this to me, I have a family. His words are cut off by gurgling spasms, eyes rolling back to their sockets as the surgeon's silhouette behind him cuts something inside his head. Blood and brain matter splatters the curtain, hiding the worst of the scene. But the sounds of squelching meat and bones still carry over the receiver. It's the other, calmer patient's voice that truly makes you nauseous. He doesn't just look like Emiliano, he sounds like him. Exactly like him.
Ametemoku.
You, please, tell them I'll change, tell them I'll do better, just don't let them replace me! Lookalikes' face remains impassive even as his exposed brain is prodded at with a hand-crank drill, yet the imitation of his neighbor's blood-curdling cries is perfect. Every nuance, every pause for breath, reenacted down to the finest detail, better than any audio record you could ever imagine, more immaculate and a simulacra than any man or machine should ever be capable of. It's so perfect, in fact, that you're no longer certain which is the real Emiliano.
Bonematico.
Hey, Melusine, how was that? Am I laying on the accent too thick?
Imo Giacomo.
Seems fine to me, but I'd recommend letting your voice crack once in a while. It's been known to happen when Mr. Aguilar is heavily inebriated, and considering his drinking disposition, that particular nuance will come up quite frequently.
Himaleto ba.
Gotcha, I'll give it another go. Hey pal, can you give me some fresh material to rehearse? What the fuck?
Temoku.
You're all a bunch of psychos! Motherfucking heartless psychos! Emiliano sobs and howls himself raw, retching as the surgeon hacking his cerebellum induces full body spasms. The other Emiliano merely clears his throat before howling much the same.
Zutena foi.
You're all a bunch of psychos, motherfucking heartless psychos!
Zutena foi.
How about that? Bit better?
Isamocha.
Considerably. I'll, notify the post-op technicians to implant a few more speech impediment-inducing memories and apply brain damage relative to Mr. Aguilar's alcoholism. That should iron out the last neurophysical kinks. The other Emiliano gives a thumbs up, leaning back to enjoy his lobotomy with the lackadaisy indulgence of an expert barber's scalp massage. Melusine turns to face the glass, her wide eyes pulled painfully taut. She looks at you with tears and mascara streaking down her face, her grin seeming to cause more pain than either patient's cerebral surgery.
Unipova.
Was there anything else you needed to see, Mr. Bogard?
Yawona Kimo.
No, thank you, dear. That'll be all. Just wanted our new hire to get a better idea of the daily grind. Oh, but do let me know if we need to make adjustments to the mediatic nutrition, will you? I'll be on standby. The curt nod, the receptionist turns her back. You hear a click, then a dial tone, and the phone's ceaseless screaming abruptly cuts off. Across the grass, Emiliano thrashes with all his might, the sound of his screeching muted once again.
Ajobonica.
So, what do you think? Pretend to be calm and curious. You studied childhood trauma long enough to know explosive reactions incite abusers to commit further violence. Even though it almost kills you, you keep your voice as steady as possible, expressing mild surprise and even milder confusion about the absolute nightmare unfurling before you. Mr. Bogard looks pleased as punch by your polite interest. A seismic laughter creeps up his cavernous throat as he gestures to the two Emilianos.
Notisamini.
I'm glad you're coming to this with an open mind. Most recruits get surprisingly antsy at this stage of our proceedings. What you see here is the most common and most heavily patented human resource service Unicorp provides. We replace troublesome members of society with specially trained, lab-raised actors that will live more efficient lives in our target's places. What the fuck? I've never done this kind of thing before. It's my first time too. It's kind of a lot.
Notisamini.
And what's more, we perform today's processes all according to your specifications. What the fuck? Your specifications? You had nothing to do with this. Unperturbed by your protests, Bogard motions to the silhouetted surgeons currently picking at both Emiliano's wet and naked craniums.
Yawona Kimo.
First, as standard procedure, we have our doppelgangers undergo extensive surgeries. This ensures their size and appearance match their target. However, we also perform highly precise neural excisions and hormonal dosing sessions to ensure both replacement and replacee have identical synaptic pathways. That means they'll share the same tastes, reflexes, and handicaps wherever applicable.
Ome Baden.
In this case, we've altered portions of the cortex related to all those troublesome self-regulations behaviors Aguilar you once used to cope with his childhood traumas. It was a wise suggestion of yours to address such foundational behavior-based shortcomings directly at their source. After completing his bleak announcement with a showman's tone, the giant points to the device on his desk. Its myriad cables run along the floor and worm their way through slits in the two-way glass, connecting to flashing televisions hanging above the patient's faces.
Yawona
That's insane.
Kimo.
Next, we will bombard our subject with doctored historical information and falsified childhood memory footage to rewire their lived experiences. This will erase problematic attitudes and induce more desirable proclivities.
Yawona Kimo.
This also extends to the teaching of new morals or religious beliefs, which he suggested should be done to treat extreme societal cases. And while Dr. Aguilar held some rather distasteful political views at the core of his character. Rest assured, we've replaced them with better values, which align nicely with company interests. This is not what I meant. This is not what I meant. With an emphatic flourish, albeit tweaks another one of his machine's many knobs. A television screen flickers, replacing its gruesome slideshow of warfare footage with the pictures of a pastoral farm. The latter Emiliano squirms, then screeches.
Notice mini.
Finally, the tweed behemoth nods to Melusine, whose eyes glance between both her patients, taking notes whenever one of them imitates the other. The two are becoming increasingly impossible to tell apart. Lastly, but not least, Miss St. Saëns arguably has the most important task of all: quality assurance. You see, our procedure is human, not mechanical. Instinct trumps algorithm when it comes to understanding people. Thus, it's imperative for staffers with an eye for social cues to study the effects of non-sedated lobotomies, particularly during back-and-forth exchange between target and replacement. This allows us to adjust mediatic nutrition quickly, and to identify overlooked flaws in body language, voice modulation, or personality. All this ensures our doppelgangers perform their jobs correctly.
Kudo Mijaji.
In other words, she will be ensuring that at least one of these Aguilars exterminates their family members correctly. Miss St. Saëns is a woman who comes up with solutions, you see. Not excuses. Oh my god. Holy shit, he wasn't lying. You may not have pulled the trigger, but you did help him load the gun. As you reel from the weight of revelation, Obiya holds up 3 fingers. One by one, he curls them down.
Kudo Mijaji.
Physical rewiring, psychological reconditioning, social reintegration. These are the pillars upon which Smyrna Corp's substitution services are built. This is how we guarantee that tens of thousands of doppelgangers currently deployed to the public perform exactly as they must. It's how our company has controlled the course of human civilization for years upon years, steering it in whatever direction our executives deem right. What the fuck? It's how the right people have shown up at the right times in the right places, how the wrong items or ideas have never appeared in opportune occasions. And it's how you will help us do our job, regardless of which department you are ultimately assigned to.
Home Baden.
So, are there any further questions about your new job's responsibilities? Why didn't my aunt tell me about this? The only logical explanation is that she didn't know this kind of insanity was occurring at her workplace. After all, the woman can definitely be a little heartless, but she wouldn't stoop to getting you a job torturing people just to get her rent money. Would she?
Notice mini.
Oh, I'm afraid your aunt was very aware of the procedures we conduct here. She's undergone one herself, after all. It's what makes her such an exceptional recruiter. But please don't resent her for keeping so much sensitive information confidential. To borrow an expression, we have many fingers shoved quite deep into a surprising amount of pies. Okay, well fuck. The tweed behemoth spreads his arms, taking up a dramatic stance. His muscular limbs cast a vast, all-consuming shadow, much like the one his company must cast over the world.
Kudo Mijaji.
Societies, you see, are merely sets of rules, meant to control select populaces, enforced by means of moral codes and legislative threats. Histories are not but narratives parading as objective fact, deterministically controlling the future by redefining the past. Economies are broad equations engineered to establish hierarchies and restrict freedoms indirectly. Our missive is to alter the evolution of all these entities, everywhere in the world, for the betterment of our species. This can mean overturning the governments with silent revolutions, establishing or destroying businesses to reroute the flow of wealth, even altering histories in ways that can force us to reinterpret the present.
Gawona Kimo.
All the world's a stage, men and women merely players, but Smyrna Corp is the playwright, casting every actor's role. Today your role has been decided too, and if you care to keep a roof over your head, you should refrain from ever delivering a disappointing performance. The giant's index finger prods your chest as he speaks. Each tap is like a bullet thudding against a Kevlar vest. Against the mirror, Emiliano screams as though he felt those gunshots too. His cries is an ode to the dark future which await you. A future of perpetual, inescapable servitude. I don't think it's safe to refuse these people directly. The thought of helping these monsters makes you sick. I think we just pretend to accept and then we never show up. That's what I do. But turning down the offer means you'll end up on the street. Unless you promise Regard to work hard and do better than Emiliano. For now.
Note samedi.
Wonderful, but be advised you'll need to perform very well for a very long time if you intend your time for us to be temporary. But temporary and for a very long time don't go together. After all, we've already signed our first contract, and its strictest clauses do not expire anytime soon, huh? Man's pale eyes stripped toward your hand, the one he shook that you thought was bleeding. No, my plans. Fuck. Looking into your palm, you realize the hunch was fully justified, because something did pierce it. There's a lump beneath the skin, a small, subtle, rectangular protrusion you hadn't noticed until now. Probably because it wasn't flashing, let alone making such an obnoxious sound.
Note samedi.
This, my friend, is what we would refer to as a non-disclosure microchip, a brand new addition to our confidentiality policy specially designed by our future partners at Radium Inc. It serves as an ID to access our offices, but also as an employee loyalty failsafe. Should you ever emit brain activity associated with treason, unauthorized divulgation of confidential data, or any such nasty business, the chip will emit a warning signal. Should the warning go unheeded, a lethal dose of borodinium-210 will be discharged, a nigh untraceable radiotoxic isotope, capable of inducing a total organ shutdown within seconds. Great!
Home baden.
In other words, lest you care to experience a particularly messy demise, I suggest you remain on your best behavior until you die of natural causes. Right. Microchip starts beeping faster till it matches the demented tempo of your beating heart. No telling which of the two is about to explode first. The signal is interrupted by Mr. Regard tisking as he checks his belt-sized watch.
Gawona kimo.
Dearie me, seems I lost track of time. Other appointments beckon. I'm afraid our meeting is at an end. You'd best return home and get plenty of rest. You'll need it for your onboarding.
Home baden.
Oh, and please make an effort to be punctual, won't you? Your aunt warned me of your troublesome sleep schedule and general apathy. I thought she gassed me up. But we don't take kindly to those without backbone around here. Either arrive on time and complete your work on schedule, or we'll produce a replacement who shall do it for you. I know that sounds scary, but just think of it as the perfect opportunity for some long overdue self-improvement. As Obia chuckles, an elevator door screeches open behind you. The open shaft greets you like the gaping maw of a deep-sea fish. You glance between the door and your manager, wondering if it's really safe to leave. By the time the behemoth gives you a cheeky wink, you're already making a run for it. Your fingers mash every single button of the keypad's confusing display, hoping some combination of keys will get you as far as possible. Eventually, the grill edge gate slams shut. The floor launches upward. And Mr. Brigard waves goodbye, speaking the most chilling words you've heard all day.
Kudo mijaji.
See you tomorrow! Your microchip's alarm slows to a crawl as all your hopes and dreams die a slow, whimpering death. Congratulations. You're hired. What a game. What a game. Holy shit. I think that is going to be how we have to call it for tonight, but holy shit. That's a hellish scenario. It's very interesting though, and very well written. Really, really funny, really good humor, but yeah, I'm like, I could see myself definitely continuing this one off stream. Once again, let me give you guys the link to it on Steam if this is something that you guys could be interested in playing for yourselves. Because holy shit. Alright, let me switch on over to just chatting. Whoops, my model slid up. And we'll wrap up stream for today. Thank you everybody who hung out with me. I'm glad we got to get good looks at 3 different games for the festival. It was definitely very fun. Very, very much a good time. If you guys have any suggestions for raid messages, feel free to put them in a chat. Let me just take a look at our options for raids. That one was wild, but kind of interested to see more, right? It was very interesting. I would definitely keep playing if it wasn't so late, but I'm very interested. Could definitely see myself checking that one out more. Definitely see that. Alright. Who do I want to raid here? We have a couple options for tonight. How about... You know what? We have not rated Toffee in a while. How about, since it's been a little bit, we'll just do a nice little mermaid raid. Otsareni. Alright. There we go. Here is the raid message for those of you guys who have subs and can use you can use the sub emotes. For those of you who don't, words are hard for me today. We will also have a sub message for you guys. Thank you again for dropping by. Don't forget to check out Choose Wisely on Steam. And let's go say hi to Toffee. She's playing some Dark Souls 2. Go cheer her on. She's in a cute Christmas outfit. Alright. I will be back with my with the final day of Choose Wisely tomorrow. We're gonna be playing another mystery VN that involves some idols called Whispers of the Luminaries. I hope to see you guys for that tomorrow evening, and until then, I wish you all well, and yeah, just have a wonderful night. I will see you all later. I enjoyed all of these. I hope you all did too. Thank you, and goodbye, everybody.